Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'll be unboxing this very odd and weird, still classy and orthodox looking box by OnePlus. And of course it has the OnePlus 7T, the recently released flagship phone from OnePlus, along with obviously the OnePlus 7T Pro. The reason I picked the 7T is because it's more manageable in size. 7T Pro is too humongous and too huge in my opinion. So I'm sure you must have seen plenty of unboxings already, so we're gonna waste minimum time on this box. But I would like to express myself once again. Very bright looking box, very different looking box, very long indeed, and very different at the same time. You can see here in the bottom left OnePlus logo, and on the right hand side the OnePlus 7T written here as well. At the back you can see all that information, and this is, by the way, the Glacier Blue version with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. I like the fact that the OnePlus 7T comes with Dolby Atmos speakers, same as we had on the previous iteration of OnePlus, and obviously powered by the very latest and greatest Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 Plus. Okay, so opening the box, there we go, and let's have a look. What do we find inside? First and foremost, obviously the usual paperwork. It's got the OnePlus stickers, I guess, obviously the invitation letter from the OnePlus founder. As you can see, guys, you can pause the video should you wish to read all of that. I'm gonna skip all of this. Okay, so now finally the OnePlus 7T itself in Glacier Blue. So let's unwrap this. Wow, that looks lovely. So this is the OnePlus 7T Glacier Blue in its full glory, and obviously the highlight at the back you can see is this round set of 3 cameras at the back, which we'll discuss in just a moment. So let's put the phone away. You can keep looking at it to your heart's content and see what else do we find inside. We also have a see-through TPU gel transparent case, one of my favorites. We will put that in just a moment. Okay, so you have the SIM ejector tool, we can put that away too, and then we have this special cable which will provide you fast charging, which we will talk about in just a moment once we get the adapter out. And so this is the newer charging standard by OnePlus. As you know, their fast chargers were already very fast. This is now the warp charging, as they tell you in the advertisements, and you can see here the rating on the charger. So you got 5V 2A or 5V 6A max for warp charging 30T. That's what we're calling it. From my understanding, if I remember correctly, I think you can charge it up to 50% in just 20 minutes, and you can charge the phone all the way up to 100% in around 1 hour's time, which is fantastic. Already the charging was so fast with the previous standards, but with this standard hopefully life will be a bit more easier. I hope the phone doesn't get too warm. I will be testing it in the days and weeks to come, and we'll let you know if the phone does heat up whilst you charge it with warp charging. So that's pretty much everything so far. So let's put everything away and concentrate on the OnePlus 7T in Glacier Blue, the standard case that comes in the box. My favorite category, as most of you follow me, you know already. I love TPU gel see-through cases because they give you a good protection, minimal weight. At the same time, you can see the color of the phone all the time. Let's turn the phone on. I hope it has got some battery left in it. There we go. So whilst the phone boots up, let's quickly talk about some specs here. So the phone has got a 6.55, quite a big screen. It's an AMOLED screen, same as we had on the 7 and the 7 Pro from before. Also, the phone has got Snapdragon 855 Plus, along with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of total storage. Also, the phone has got this tiny selfie camera at the front, the water drop notch, of course. Obviously this is minimalistic. I like this way because then it doesn't eat much of your screen. Okay, looking at the bottom of the phone, guys, you can see a Type-C USB, no 3.5mm jack this time around, guys, as you know. In fact, from the previous series, OnePlus have already gotten rid of the 3.5mm jack, and I think with more people buying Bluetooth and wireless headphones, eventually everybody will be on that and nobody will require the 3.5mm headphone jack. A noise cancellation mic here, as you can see, along with the antenna lines. At the bottom, like we were speaking earlier, the Type-C USB, this is where your SIM goes. Obviously OnePlus phones don't come with any SD cards, and this phone has, by the way, Dolby Atmos set of speakers. So you got the typical setup, one's down firing speaker, and then you got your earpiece up top here. As you can see in the video, this is your second speaker, and together they will bring you the stereo effect. I will be testing this against my current champion, the Samsung Galaxy S10. Also, I'll be testing it against the brand new iPhone 11 Pro Max. There you go, guys. All these phones have stereo speakers, and I'm very excited to see which phone of these three comes on top: the OnePlus 7T, the iPhone 11 Pro Max, or the Samsung Galaxy S10, all with Dolby Atmos, all with stereo speakers. Please do stay tuned, and I will be posting videos in the next few days to come. Okay, so now let's put these phones away and back to the OnePlus 7T. Okay, also I would like to quickly compare this with the OnePlus 6. The reason for that is because most of people looking at this video have either the OnePlus 5T or 6 or the 6T. People who invested in the OnePlus 7 and 7 Pro are less likely to upgrade to 17 7 Pro. It's only been just a few months when the 7 and the 7 Pro were released, so most people, I guess, will be upgrading from the OnePlus 6, 6T or the 5 or the 5T. So having a quick look between the two, as you know, things have moved on a lot. The OnePlus 6 had only 2 cameras, had a physical fingerprint sensor, whereas on the 7T you got an in-screen fingerprint sensor. I will be testing it against the Samsung Galaxy S10 and see which one is faster. I'm hearing that the one on the 7T is already quite fast. Okay, in terms of width, this is one area which really concerns me a lot on OnePlus phones, and one of the reasons why at times I use the Samsung Galaxy S10 as my main driver. These phones are very, very wide, and the reason I say it because when you hold them in with one hand, you can see there's a bit of pressure building up on your palm, so you're unable to move your thumb all the way across, as you can see. Now they have reduced a bit of width on the 7T as opposed to the 6 and the previous iteration, but still it's very, very wide. The only two OEMs who are actually doing better than the others is the Samsung with their S10, not the S10 Plus, not the Note 10 Plus, not the Note 10, just the S10. That's why I got the S10. And also the Sony's Xperia 5 and Xperia 1 both have got beautiful width. The width on the S10 is around 70mm thereabouts, whereas on the 6 and the 7T it is around 74 to 75mm. I can't remember the exact figures, but you can see there is a considerable amount of difference in width between the two phones, which makes one-hand usage so much convenient and easier. And that's why I'm emphasizing a big portion of this video just on this, guys, that I still think OnePlus should look into this thing. Their phones are fantastic, the good cameras, decent amount of battery life, good build quality. Overall they look good, but they need to work on the width so that one day we can use the OnePlus phone with just one hand and not two hands. Of course, if your hands are bigger, it'd be easier, but for most people, I think the S10 and the Xperia 5 and the Xperia 1 are the perfect phones for one hand usage. Let me go through the setup and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I finally managed to get to the home screen with the basic setup. So let's have a look at, first of all, the settings bit, and let's see if we can get the display to have, it was on adaptive brightness. I obviously like putting it on manual so I can see how powerful the screen gets. As you can see, guys, the screen is very, very bright, punchy colors. I love AMOLED screens because the colors are very nice, deep blacks and also very true colors. First of all, let's look at the basics. So settings, and then we go into at the bottom about phone OnePlus 7T. As you can see, the specs here which we discussed earlier, 855 plus, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, obviously 3 cameras at the back, 48 megapixel, 16 megapixel and 12 megapixel triple camera setup, as you can see, guys, with varying apertures. 2 of the cameras I think have got optical image stabilization. Also the phone has got a super steady mode, so you can use EIS and OIS both to keep the video super stable, as you have same in the Galaxy flagship phones. Then you also have the quad LED flash, I think, if I remember correctly, or maybe dual. Looks very powerful so far. Okay, so then Android version 10. This is the first phone to come out with the latest and greatest iteration by Android. Even the Pixel phones at the time when the phone was launched didn't have no Android 10 in the older versions, and the newer versions were not even released at the time. Okay, device name OnePlus 7T. Oxygen OS 10.0.1 model number, everything else, and there you are so far with the software and the hardware. Okay, let's have a look at the storage and see how much is being occupied without even installing a single app. So getting into storage bit, here you go guys. So it's taken 27.07 gigs out of the 128 gig. This is more than what the iPhone 11 Pro Max's iOS 13 took. As you remember, I did an unboxing a couple of days ago, and iOS 13 takes far less space as opposed to Oxygen OS 10 and also Android version 10. Okay, but still plenty of space for majority of you out there guys. There's a lot of space, but obviously the phone has got no SD card options, but we have Google Drive services these days, cloud services. We've got the Microsoft OneDrive and plenty of other platforms where you can obviously store your photos, including Google Photos. Also, the phone comes with 3800 milliamp battery. That's 100 milliamp more than the previous iteration of OnePlus 7, but traditionally OnePlus phones have had a good stable battery life. One thing which might affect the battery life is the screen refresh rate. Now I know all big YouTubers out there, everybody seems to be talking about the refresh rate and how different and how unique it feels when you are on 90 Hz. So here you go in display settings, you can see screen refresh rate. You have two options here, 90 Hz, there we go guys. It takes a second or two, and then if I touch the screen, I cannot, to be honest, feel anything as such as of now, even before when I was tapping at 60 Hz. So now let's go back to 60 Hz and see what difference does it make. I can see the responsiveness declining just a little bit, but it's up to a point where a common man would not feel much of a difference. That is my opinion. No disrespect to the big YouTubers and everybody else out there obviously talking a lot about it, but if you want more battery life, and if the 90 Hz and the 60 Hz changeover produces a difference, I would rather stick to 60 Hz instead and not 90 Hz. But obviously this is my first impression, the first time I've held a 90 Hz phone. As the days and weeks go by, I will obviously settle down more and see if there is any significant difference, but from the first impression so far, there's no major big difference apart from the, like I said, the responsiveness declining a little bit when you go to 60 Hz, but apart from that, nothing much. But if the battery life compromise is big, I would rather stick to 60 Hz, and these are purely my opinions. So now let's have a quick look at these three cameras that the OnePlus 7T has. It's got a normal lens, then you got the wide angle lens, and then you got the macro lens, and apparently you can go really close to the object up to 2.5 centimeters and still get a great macro shot. So let's quickly test this. Let's open the cameras up. Okay, allow this all the time for now. So this is the normal regular lens. These are our test subjects, the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Sony DSX-H60. So let's turn this baby on. The lens should come out in just a moment. There we go. Okay, so now let's take a few photos with all these three cameras and see how things turn up. First of all, using the regular camera and capturing the 11 Pro Max. There we go. And then capturing the Sony DSX-H60. There we go. Now let's use the optical lens, 2x optical zoom. There we go. And without tapping on the screen, we just stick to the way it is. There we go. And then we go back onto the 11 Pro Max, again using this photo without tapping. There we go guys. Let's take one more photo of the actual 3 setup camera on the 11 Pro Max. And now let's use the wide angle lens. There we go guys, and let's take a photo of both the test subjects in one frame. There we go. Okay, I want to use now the optical lens, really get close to this, what is written on Sony, and see how it comes out. Okay, there we go. And then on the Sony itself, I'm really close. Fantastic. Normal mode, let's get close again. Now as you can see, the picture blurs straight away. It's unable to focus, so you have to go into the macro mode for the lens to actually get you some quality. Okay, fantastic. Now let's have a look at these photos and see what kind of quality OnePlus 7T will bring to us. Rotation on landscape, there we go. As you can see guys, so the Sony lens picture here taken with the macro lens is absolutely stunning, and the camera was able to focus onto the text without any difficulty as such. You can even see the dust particles on the lens as well, which is not too bad. Again, the Sony logo came out very clear. I did not tap on the screen in any of these photos, so far looking so good. Once again, macro mode a bit further away. nice picture quality. Again, this is the wide angle lens, and let's zoom in a bit and see if it was able to retain the quality. I can see the Sony has the camera's black colors. The black colors of the camera are a bit too black, a bit too artificial, so I can see there's a bit of change of color here. Okay, so looking at the 11 Pro Max, also as you can see, the edges and the corners have gone a bit black, so there's a color variation on the wide angle lens. And I think I did read a review a while ago where someone mentioned this, but this is purely my observation so far. Hopefully a software update will fix this issue. So there's a color variation when you use the wide angle lens. Again, macro mode getting close to the 11 Pro Max's 3 camera setup, and you can see it's not too bad. But once again, this black effect you can see on this camera, and a bit on the edges on this as well is quite visible. They need to fix this for sure. Okay, if you keep it a bit further away, the black effect is not too bad. Once again here, taken with the optical 2x optical zoom, still looking very nice. Again here with the normal lens, looks alright, not too bad. You can see the blacks are more natural and the color retention is much better as opposed to when we had the picture much closer to the camera. So here again, not too bad. Okay, good color reduction, less blackish, but still not perfect. So far so good. The lighting conditions are quite difficult, but the camera, for me, I can see so far, looks okay. There is, by the way, a software update waiting for the phone as we speak. You can see it says got the new Oxygen OS 10.0.6. If you tap on the update now, let's have a look and see what else has been improved. Optimized standby power consumption along with optimized expanded screenshot feature. Bluetooth connectivity has been optimized and improved stability, and general bug fixes. 218 MB in size. Hopefully that will improve the camera. If not, I know OnePlus are quite known to send out regular OTA updates, which is fantastic. Okay, so I've also configured the built-in fingerprint sensor and see how quick that is. So let's tap my thumb here and see if it responds. I tell you what, it's not even responding. Okay, finally it did. It took me a few attempts to do that. It seems to me as if it's not able to pick up straight away. You have to find the exact location, or maybe tap it once and then tap again to get it working. So let's have a look. Double tap, there we go, boom. I think this is much easier. My very first time with the OnePlus 7T or their inbuilt fingerprint technology, so it's good for me to know how this works. I think it's better to, if you just turn the power button on like that and then tap on the screen for it to get recognized. It does illuminate, so that helps, of course. And I can see straight away one thing, even though finding the actual sensor is difficult and you will eventually get used to it, but the speed of the inbuilt fingerprint sensor is quite fast, and it's a lot faster than my Samsung Galaxy S10. But the initial stage of actually looking for it is a bit of a hassle, I can see. So you have to double tap it and then enable it. Still not too bad, but with one tap is not going to work. It won't find your thumb just like that unless you tap it at least a few times. The fingerprint sensor is pretty fast, accurate, apart from the initial hassle where you have to go through looking for it first, double tap on it for it to illuminate, and then you put your thumb or finger and then it opens up straight away without any fuss. Okay, also now quickly before we finish the video, it's getting a bit too long guys, let's quickly test the speakers on the OnePlus 7T. Like I said to you initially in the video, the stereo setup, one speaker at the top, one at the bottom. Let's go into sounds, and then as you can see, like I said, it's Dolby Atmos, the speakers setup, so dynamic film music, different variations. So now let's get into ringtones and let's play a few ringtones and see how it goes. To be honest, it's not looking too bad. It's loud. I can hear the vibration motor also vibrating, not as strong as we have on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, definitely stronger motor than the S10, but the sound was crisp, clear, but it did not sound as powerful as you have on the S10 or the iPhone 11 Pro Max. But that's why I said to you earlier in the video, I'm very excited. I want to see how good these speakers are. Obviously OnePlus are fairly new to the stereo setup. It was only present in the last iteration, and then it's going to be in their every phone moving forward. But obviously these things take time. It's a fairly new OEM, and it's a very competitive market when it comes to stereo speakers. Big names like ZTE, iPhone, and obviously Samsung have mastered this act for the last number of years. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. Any questions about the phone, please feel free to ask me in the comment section, and do stay tuned. I will be putting a lot of videos, including camera samples, videos on my social media. There'll be speaker comparison, plenty to come in the days and weeks to come. And please subscribe to my channel as it helps, and I shall see you in the next video.